growing up in the home where I was raised by three women, my grandma, mom, and my sister, love them all so much. And it's so interesting because my sister, even though she's 18 months older than me, she thought she was my mom at times. She's like, you need to do this, you need to wash the dishes. I'm like, what's going on? Like, just let me be. And I'm getting these orders from my mom too. And my grandma was always just such a strong maternal presence in the home. My mom worked a couple of jobs just to kind of make ends meet while my grandma wasn't working. And so my grandma really raised me. And my sister, probably because she felt the absence of my mom at times, felt probably like she needed to step in and try to fulfill that void in some ways, and maybe give me a sense of like duty and chores and whatnot, or like at least enforce them, whatever my mom was to say for me to do. But you know, that those relationships transferring over, I think because my grandma really raised me the most, I think that I kind of view Mary, and might sound kind of strange, but as like my grandma, you know, like my grandmotherly love. And I just know that like when I'm with my grandma, I know everything's fine. Like, it's a slow heartbeat, I'm at rest, you know, there's nothing is an emergency, you know. And so like that kind of transfers over to Our Lady for me, where I know that if I ask Mary to pray for me on the behalf of whatever my intercession is, you know, whatever my prayer is, it's almost like, okay, slow heartbeat, Mary's got it. You know, she's grandma mom kind of for me. And it's really, really beautiful because there's just so much trust, you know. If I'm praying to, you know, God the Father, and I'm like, well, why weren't you there? You know, or whatever, you know, if I'm upset at something in my life, like maybe I've come across a new wound or something like that, and I'm like, well, God the Father, where were you in that? I'm like, I don't want to talk to you right now. You know, let me talk to mom. Let me talk to Grandma Mary, you know. And so often she always just points me back to her son, and then Jesus points me to God the Father anyway, and the Holy Spirit is working through all of that, and so it just ends up happening in a healthy way. But she eases me, you know, and it's yeah, a good motherly presence for me. And so yeah, close to Our Lady, she's beautiful. Mary is, you think about her, she's very dynamic, she's very beautiful. You know, you think about her relationship with God, the Holy Trinity, you know. Mary, she is a daughter, the same way that you're a son or a daughter of God. She's also a daughter of God the Father. She's a spouse of the Holy Spirit, the same way you may or may not be a spouse as well. And she's also a mother. She's a mother to Jesus Christ, who is the second person of the Holy Trinity. You know, the same way you may be a mother or you may be a father to your kids. And so that's her relationship. And she's so divinely and just amazingly beautifully like intertwined with the Holy Trinity so well. She knows them all so well. And so similar to how when I'm asking for a friend to pray for me, I'm like, hey, you mind praying for me, man? Like, yeah, I could really use this right now. Mary's a real person. And if we truly do believe in heaven, in people who are up there, you know, communion of saints, then we'll ask for their intercession because they're close to God. Mary is the closest one to God that I could imagine and think of, you know, with her just intertwinedness of her relationships between the three. And so she just wants to be a mom to you. That's really it, you know. She just wants to point you to her son. She wants to point you to Jesus. Like, sometimes Mary is seen as the moon, because what does the moon do? It reflects the sun. That's it. That's why it's illuminated. And so that's what Mary is for us. She just always is pointing back to the sun. And Jesus entrusted us, his mother. He gave up so much when he was on the cross. One of the last things he gave up was his mom. He was like, okay, she's y'all's now. Please use her. She's amazing. And I love her, and you should too.